Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by FPL Salah to preview Game Week 29. Abdul, you've got 5 free transfers, so you are in a better position than I think anyone else out there. I don't know if anyone else has got 5 free transfers at this moment in time. If you do in the comments, let me know. You're doing very well to attack this game week and really get the strongest team you possibly can. So I'm excited to see what you're going to do. First things first, are you using any chips this week? And secondly, tell us about this Trent news and how that might affect your team, obviously picking up an injury in the Champions League.
No, so I won't be using the chip this week because I've got 11 players already with 5 free transfers, so I'm in quite a good position, especially compared to most. So I'll be saving the free hit and wild card. For me, the Trent news doesn't make a huge bit of difference because I I mean, with 5 free transfers, you can imagine I've got quite a few paths I could take, and there was a lot of kind of options in which involved me taking Trent out. So I guess this kind of just makes it a little bit easier to sell him. However, there's over 2.5 weeks, I think, until the next actual game week. After game week 29. So I mean, like he's not playing this week anyway. Yeah, so pretty much from now until game week 30, until Liverpool play again, it's about 3 weeks. So I think if you were planning on keeping him, it doesn't really change much. And unless Slot comes out and says, it's quite a serious injury and he's out for months or something like that. But didn't look serious to me. Just looked like he rolled his ankle.
I guess then you can always reassess when you get to game week 30 as well. You
Yeah.
don't have to make that move now.
No.
But it does sound like he's going to be out of the final, which is big news for Liverpool fans.
Yeah, but then Slot said he said he'd be surprised if he made it, which to me
Okay.
indicates it's not that serious. He didn't say, "Oh no, he's definitely out for the game." He just said to be surprised, so it kind of indicates to me it's not that serious on first inspection.
Okay, let's have a look at your team briefly from last week. 59 points, decent week, to be fair. It wasn't really the biggest week in terms of points potential anyway.
Yeah,
Sometimes I look at those sort of weeks and they're just sort of like transitional weeks in a way, getting us towards the bigger game weeks, probably like this one where there is more points opportunity. Like no one really got huge greens or huge reds. Some people did, obviously, they always will, but I think the majority just did all right. You did better than me, 59, pretty decent.
yeah. I mean, I think I got like an 8K red. If I got like 1 or 2 points more, it probably would have been a small green. So yeah, I guess one of those weeks where I kind of held rank. I think from game week 29 now, it's what they call the business end of the season, isn't it? So we've
Yeah,
got the
indeed.
blank game week, and then we've got doubles and like and blank game weeks to come as well. So yeah, it's exciting part of the season. I think this is where if you plan, effectively, you can make some huge gains.
Okay, let's talk about that. 5 free transfers. It's
Yeah.
pretty crazy to be in that position. Were you in that position earlier in the season? I feel like you might have been as well.
I know I've got to 4 free.
Okay, you got to
I think
4.
it's the first time I got to 5 free transfers. I've had 4. And then I used a transfer a few weeks ago. But yeah, first time I had 5. So yeah, it feels good. Feels good to be in that kind of strong position.
Well, I mean, to be honest, you'd probably be in a strong position anyway with like just a couple of free transfers because
Yeah.
your team looks very well set up. You've got 11 playing players already, so you could actually burn, which would be crazy. But no, so tell the people how many transfers are you thinking of using? How set in stone are your moves, and how aggressive do you want to get for this blank game week?
Yeah, I think with 5 free transfers, I could afford to be a bit more aggressive, I guess. I'm thinking of using maybe 3 or 4 transfers this week. I think 3 is a good number because I want to have like, at least 4 free transfers going into my wild card in game week 31. So if I use 3 this week, I'll have what 3 again in 30, and hopefully I can save in 30, and then have 4 free transfers going to 31.
Yeah.
So that'd be like a really good position to be in. If I used 3, and I think like I can even get away with using 2 here. Like I can do something like Palmer and Isaac to Kluivert and Haaland, and I can do the same with like either Salah out for Kluivert and João Pedro out for Haaland, right? So,
Yeah.
but I think I want to kind of make that third transfer to kind of, I guess, cover the free hit, the guys who are they're playing the free hits because they're going to have the best team possible. They're going to have the likes of Gvardiol, Chris Wood, possibly like Nottingham Forest midfielders as well. So I think I'm in a position. I think from what I've seen, a lot of guys, a lot of FPL managers aren't in the position of having 11 players already and 5 free transfers. It's like more like maybe 8, 9 players with 2 free transfers, and
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people taking hits as well. So I think I can kind of push the boat out a little bit. So the moves I'm thinking about at the moment, the thing is, I don't know right now whether to get rid of Salah or Palmer to bring in Haaland because I think if I get rid of Salah, I probably will bring him back in the wild card in Game Week 31. I might not.
Okay.
I think we talked about this last week. So that's the one. Well, that's the only thing that's kind of in my mind at the moment. I've got two paths to go down. One get rid of Salah and one not.
I think this is the thing, and like I've seen people mention it. I've talked about it in videos this week as well on the channel. It's whether you can see yourself going without Salah or not. Because if you can, then I think that you have to sell him now. Really,
Yeah,
this is the time. But if not, and I'm yeah, we had Bakar on yesterday, he was pretty like set on selling Salah. I was a bit more like, really, I know he might not be the best captain option on paper in any of these given
yeah,
weeks, but it doesn't really necessarily matter because he's the most consistent player we've seen in a long time in fantasy football, and any given moment he could just explode, and he's been so consistently like hauling week in week out. Do you really want to sell a player that's doing that even if you're not captaining him? It's tough. So
yeah.
yeah, go on then. What do you
I know,
think?
and I've looked at the game weeks, and when you look ahead and look at the alternative captains, it does make it like really. I mean, on paper it makes sense.
Yeah, that's the thing. On paper, it makes sense, and I get it. There are better. There are in
Yeah,
each individual week. There are better options. You run us through them because I've got the fixtures up on screen here, which would be good for people to be able to see.
yeah. So I've actually made a little table.
Okay.
Hold on, let me just pull it up. Right, so let's just take it from Game Week 29, right?
Yeah.
So
Just to show
uh,
everyone, I've got Liverpool down here. Obviously with the blank game week, and then Everton at home, Fulham away, West Ham at home, Leicester away, Tottenham at home,
yeah, so
and
let's just
draw.
look at those. Right, so in Game Week 29, you obviously go Haaland, Brighton. Liverpool blank. When Salah's got Everton at home, you can go for Haaland at Leicester again, right? Home to Leicester. That probably is a better fixture, I'd say. Um, well, it's definitely a better fixture,
In the
right? But
Everton game, yeah,
than the Everton game, however, with Salah's form this season, that's what makes it risky. I
yeah,
mean, Fulham away is a tough game, I think. Then you can go either Palmer away at Brentford or Isaac away at Leicester. Now, game week 32, you're going to go Isaac, right? Because he's got a double game week.
yeah,
Even though Liverpool have got a great fixture, I think even those who have got Salah aren't going to captain that week, right? They're going to go with Isaac with a double game week player. And then game week 33 again is a likely double. So there's going to be more doubles in game week 33, and it's very likely Man City going to double in that week. So again, Haaland, right?
yeah,
And then game week 34, in my position, I'll be free hitting in game week 34, so I'll probably get in Salah for that week, possibly captain him for Spurs. But again, if you've not, you've got Palmer at home to Everton, you've got Isaac at home to Ipswich, and Haaland at home to Villa. And in 35, Chelsea away, you can go Haaland at home to Wolves or Saka at home to Bournemouth. You think Saka's probably going to be back by then. He's probably going to be kind of fit by then as well. Then the last 2 games, Arsenal at home and Brighton away. You've got Haaland at Southampton, and last game in 37, you've got Saka home to Newcastle, and again Haaland home to Bournemouth. And in the last game of the season, look, you've got Isaac at home to Everton, and then Arsenal who play Southampton. So what I mean. There are a lot of options. I mean, look, if you look at Liverpool's fixtures, they're not the best, right? They've got
mm,
they've got Fulham away, Chelsea away, and then Arsenal and Brighton. I mean, they're decent fixtures, right? And you'll say they're, you know, I mean, I don't know. Even if you've got Salah, and I say you've got Salah and Haaland there, and Palmer and Isaac. Say you've got 3 of them. Are you really going to captain Salah in all those game weeks? And
no,
like, if you're not going to captain him in, like, say, four or five of those game weeks in, you got to ask yourself, is it worth having them? Like, is it not better just to kind of spread that money out? Because in my position, I'm going to be bench boosting in game week 33 as well, so I'll need those funds to kind of
Yeah.
spread that money. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment. I'm kind of thinking at the moment now, Liverpool are out of the Champions League, and they've got the FA Cup final this weekend. So after this weekend, they're going to have no other competitions. It's just going to be the league. I mean, I guess Slot can. I mean, you'd say the league is in the bag, right? And I guess you could say Slot can probably rotate, as the season comes to an end. But I don't see Salah really being rotated that much because he's going to be chasing all these records. Most assists, golden boot and things like that. So I can't really see him being
Mm.
rested too much. So yeah, it's a tough decision overall.
Yeah, I think the fact that Salah that Liverpool are out of the Champions League does make it a slightly tougher decision. I think if there was any sort of
Yeah,
hint of rotation, then it would be more of a no-brainer. It is like when you do go through it as you just have done, it does really strengthen the case for selling Salah because
yeah,
I'm just looking at if I was like the biggest Salah supporter here in terms of I really want to keep him in my team, which weeks could I feasibly see myself captaining him, even if I was leaning on the side of okay, maybe he's got a slightly worse fixture, but it's Salah. And there really aren't that many. As you said, like 32 is a guarantee you're not going to.
yeah,
30 is, I think, yeah, if Haaland, it doesn't really matter. Like Leicester at home is such a plum fixture that I think you're
yeah,
okay doing that. And
for
then the
sure.
other ones, I don't know. What was 31 again? Where would you go in 31? I suppose is
Yeah, so 31
the
is
what?
Fulham away, so it's Palmer at Brentford or Isaac at Leicester. I think I'd go Isaac
Yeah.
at Leicester.
See, that
Um,
is one where you could. Fulham at home have been poor recently, but you still would say, okay, maybe that's worth going. I don't know. That's maybe the one, but I don't know what Salah's ceiling is there. He's not going to go ballistic. I don't think he's going to kill you in that week.
yeah, I mean, I think like even if I've been conservative, if I just say for example, I had Haaland, Isaac, and Palmer, right, for
Mm.
argument's sake, I'd probably only captain Salah for maybe one, two, three games actually. Like, from now until the end of the season. But possibly four, like, game week 38. But I think with game week 38, um, I can even get him back in the game week 38, right? So
Yeah,
just ignore that because, it's gonna be the last game of the season. So
it's
there's
true.
gonna be a lot of things happening. So let's say from now till game week 37, I'd probably like only look to captain three times. And that's been kind of, I'd say kind. And that's including like, so I'd be Everton at home, right? I could captain him there, but I still think Haaland's a better captaincy option. Fulham away. I think Leicester is the better option, but I could still captain him then. And then the other game is Spurs. Spurs at home, I think, is probably the only game I'd definitely captain him in.
Yeah.
Well, the other games are just a bit, I couldn't. There are other alternatives there. So yeah, it does make it. It's just a fact of can I just get rid of Palmer instead, and and go with Salah and Haaland, and still have a decent bench boost team.
Yeah.
That's something that I think will be difficult, but I'll need to look into. But that's what I'm kind of looking at the moment.
As you say though, like yeah, even if you do sell him now, he's probably going to be on your free hit. Almost definitely going to be on your free hit.
Yeah,
So that's a week covered with captaincy with that 34, or whenever you use it. Like he's going to be on it. So that's 1 week back.
yeah,
Then yeah, you can always just get him back. Like when team value doesn't mean anything late in the
yeah.
season, and if you have the free transfers, and I mean that I would think that Palace game is a great captaincy game in 38. But as you said, like that
Mm,
is the one game where it's almost like a free hit. If you've got the moves to do it, you can just do it.
yeah,
So let's go back to your team, and with all that in mind, tell us about what you're thinking.
yeah. So I've got this is the two paths I've got at the moment. So one of them is the Salah out route, which would be Salah to Kluivert, Dango to Bruno Fernandes, and then
Ooh,
Isaac to Haaland. And then if I want,
nice.
I could also do, so in that scenario, I'd bet João Pedro,
Let
and I
me just
could
have a
also
look
do,
at. Let me just put those moves in and just see how that looks.
yeah,
Um, so that would be benching João Pedro, yeah,
yeah,
which is super strong, and
yeah,
benching Colwill as well.
Paul will, yeah.
I mean,
And I
that's
could do
ridiculous.
Trent to Guardiola in that move as well, but
Wow, that's
I,
just that's just showing off there. Go
but
on.
I got to put off a bit by Guardiola this week because when I looked at the clean sheet odds, I was really surprised to see Man City down like 30% at home to Brighton.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like that's a 70% chance they concede, and I'm pretty much heavily relying on attacking returns there.
Yeah.
And I
I
thought
mean, you have the
maybe
Leicester game the week after, which is the one
exactly
that's really
that's
enticing.
that's what's kind of pushed me towards it. It's the Leicester
Yeah.
game the following week. So yeah, so that's the Salah out route.
Well, I've
Now,
just got to say that looks unbelievable, and it gives you a game week rating of 97%,
yeah,
which is so high. It's the highest I've seen of any non-free hit team, obviously.
awesome.
But I mean, like, to get to that with three transfers, and you actually look at the individual players as well. It looks like such a strong team, just anyway, despite the fact that
Yeah.
it's a blank. So that route looks great to me. But yeah, what else are you thinking?
Yeah, no, it looks good. Happy with it. And then the keeping salary is Palmer to Kluivert, Isaac to Haaland, and then Trent to Guardiola.
Palmer to Cliver, Isaac to Haaland, was it?
Yeah, and Trent to Guardiola.
Okay.
That would be using three transfers, and that would be keeping Salah. But then the thing is, I've kept Salah, but then I've got rid of Isaac and Palmer, who
Yep.
both have good fixtures in 30. Whereas with the first option, I'm getting rid of Salah, who's got a blank this week. So I'm only getting so with the other one, I'm getting rid of like Palmer, who's got a fixture this week, which is a bit difficult, but it's Arsenal away, so that's what's kind of making me think that's still a feasible move. So yeah, I mean, I think both options are good, to be honest. Um,
You would be playing Dango as well, 100% in the second game, or
no,
no?
so in
Second
the
set of moves, or no?
no, so in that I would bench Dangle and play Timber. Is that like a 4-4-2? No, a four, or is that?
Have I got one of the moves wrong here?
No, no, you may be right actually. Yeah, I think I probably will be playing Dango in that one.
I think you're
Um,
benching Mikolenko, Colwell, and Salah
no, no, I'm playing Mikolenko, so it'll be a four,
over.
a four over Dango.
Oh, right. Oh, I see.
It
Okay.
would be a 4-4-2, right?
Ah, got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dango will be benching that in that form in that scenario, and yeah, Mikolenko's Everton got the highest clean sheet odds this week.
Wow.
So I'm definitely playing.
Okay.
Playing Mikolenko and Beto. But yeah, so those are the kind of two paths I'm looking at, and there's so much like that there's things I can change with that, like just going. I guess instead of doing even in the Palmer and Isaac out scenario, and instead of doing Trent out, I can do like Dango out for someone, and there's and or
Yeah.
even like Pedro out for Chris Wood. So there's a lot of kind of variations within these two kind of paths I could take, but these are my two, I guess, my two top options that I've got at the moment. But
Okay.
with 5 transfers, Jack, I mean, there's just so much so much you can kind of do, and I mean, Wood is the big omission here from my team. I think he's going to be probably the highest captain. Um,
Really? Wow.
I think so, yeah, yeah, because I'm looking at the captain polls and stuff. I mean, like, Woods, I think, winning them all. Haaland's not far behind, but I think
Oh.
Woods is going to be. If you look at Woods' ownership, and
Yeah,
then if you
it
look
makes
at
sense.
the kind of the results in the captaincy polls on Twitter and on the websites, Wood is ahead.
Wow. That's a bit annoying. I'll probably have to be rooting against one of my favorite players of the season
Yeah.
then, is what you're telling me.
Have you got Wood?
Yeah, I've had him since game week 6.
Yeah, I mean, so who are you looking at captain this week?
Haaland.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I mean, I don't know if his EO will be over 100%. It might be actually. I might just kind of creep over. I think Woods.
I've
Uh,
not even considered captaining Wood. I don't. I think the fact that it's away is the only reason why I haven't really considered it. I think.
yeah.
Um,
I mean,
I don't know.
if I wasn't going Haaland, like just say because there is a world. I mean, I don't. I'm not going to go down that route, but like, I could just do something like Isaac to Wood, and I guess Palmer to Kluivert, and then just have all those funds still there, and then just captain Wood or get Bruno and captain him.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have Haaland, I think my captain would be Wood or Bruno. That's ones players I'd get. I mean, who else is there really? I think
Yeah.
Kluivert is decent, but I just think there's that kind of chance where he comes off, like in the 70th, 75th minute. in a random game. So yeah, I think there's those three options. Haaland, Wood, and Bruno would be my top three captaincy options.
Okay. Now looking at your recommended transfers, which is always good to do when you, especially in a spot like you're in, where you have so
Yeah.
many potential paths. Fantasy Football Hub's AI have actually said to be pretty chilled, and only make two moves. I think that's
Okay.
I think that probably just shows how strong your squad is anyway for the upcoming weeks. Not just 29, but I mean in 30 it looks really good as well.
Mhm.
The moves are Haaland in for Joao Pedro and Cliver in for Salah, which are two moves that you're thinking of doing anyway, but
Yeah.
they're saying those are the only two moves. You don't need to do any more. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's understandable because see with me wildcarding in game week 30 or 31, and then with so much more information coming out, for the doubles and blanks, pre game week 30 or just after game week 30, um, it's going to be handy going into the wildcard with as many free transfers as possible. So I want to kind of strike the balance of, and I think obviously with the algorithms and models, they're going to play safe. But for me, I want to kind of strike a right balance. I don't want to use up all of them, but I want to keep some and plan for having the free transfers in the wild card. Because yeah, I don't want to go too much into my kind of chip strategy, but kind of depend. I think the Crystal Palace and Fulham game is really important, and then the Bournemouth and City games are just gonna in the FA Cup. Though there's like those kind of two results are gonna really have a big effect on our transfer chip strategies.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. I suppose the question is how many more points do you see yourself getting from those additional moves, on top of the two that the AI have recommended, and whether it's worth doing it, or maybe you'll get more points from that free transfer later on. But I feel like at some point when you have that many transfers, you sort of just got to try and use them to actually get points, which sounds pretty stupid, but you can't
Yeah,
save them forever.
I know that's the thing, and it's the kind of a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. I know what's in front of me right now. I mean, it could be a case where I play safe, with two free, use two, and then it turns out like like the most easiest kind of chip strategy path ever. Like if for example, if Palace win and they have a double game week of 32 and 33, then I'm going to really wish I used more transfers in game week
Yeah.
29. So yeah, I think just going with what's in front of you, grabbing the points in front of you is sometimes the best option.
To be fair, just doing only those two moves and looking at your team for game week 29 and then the game week 30, it does give you a team rating of 100% with those two game weeks optimized,
Um,
which is pretty nuts.
yeah,
What would the additional, what's the most likely additional move to be that third transfer? I know you're not necessarily selling Salah, but say you were selling Salah, which I feel like you are slightly more likely to do just from how you've been with those two pathways. So
mhm.
say you were doing Salah to Cliver and then who was it? Joao Pedro. Say you were doing Joao Pedro to Haaland. What would then your third move likely be? I've forgotten what you said.
So how much have I got in the bank with that one?
You got zero point 0.3. Maybe that wasn't. Maybe you weren't. Yeah. Maybe you were doing other things there.
I mean, s- in between like the kind of the transfer pass that I've got, like the luxury move is going to be getting Wood in
Right.
or
Okay.
or getting Bruno, like in the path that I haven't got him. So
Right. Sure.
and then obviously in one of them it's Guardiola as well, in the one that I'm going for Salah. So yeah, so it's really I guess actually it will be Wood because in both the kind of scenarios I've got at the moment, I'm not going for Wood, and if I was to make that extra move, it would be for him. And I think, okay, I'm going to bring him in this week. Good fixture, but I'm not going to captain him.
So would it be Isak to Wood?
Yeah, but
Roughly is the move, right?
yeah, it would be Isaac to
Oh,
Wood.
that's interesting. Yeah. So I guess would you do that for free? That's the question.
Yeah, so this week, I mean, I'm not going to captain Wood if I get Haaland, right? So and then the game week 30, Isaac has got Brentford at home. Wood's got Man United at home. Um, So, I mean, I think that fixture alone for Isaac is, probably push me towards just not getting Wood, not making the extra
Yeah.
transfer. It does, I guess, protect me this week against all those kind of Wood owners and, the captaincy with him. It's going to be, I guess, quite scary going in with like I guess around about 100% EO wood against me.
Also, you have Dango, who you could then not have. What do you think about his
Yeah.
chances of playing?
Not good. I think Dango is he's definitely lost his place, right?
Yeah,
But he like he could easily. I think he could easily start. Well, not easily, but because I think Tavernier scored against Tavernier and Wilson scored. Sorry, Evanilson scored, which with the two
it's not
players
great.
in his positions, right?
Yeah,
So, but he could start instead of Tavernier, I think, on the right, because I think Semenyo started on the left and Tav started on the right. So he's not going to take Semenyo's spot. So it'd be one of the wings. He starts instead of Tavernier. But then if he doesn't start that game, he might start the following game against is it Ipswich at home they've got in 30.
yes.
So yeah, so I think it still might be worth keeping him for that game week for the wild card, but I'm not confident of him starting game week 29 at all.
Okay, I think we've covered most things. Is there anything else that you want to talk about specifically? Well, just in general, really. Maybe not specific to your team.
No, I think we've covered pretty much all of it. I guess captaincy this week. I think I mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
I'd say top three options would be Haaland, Bruno, and Wood in that order.
in that order. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I would probably agree with that. I'm not sure there is anyone else really that I would think about captaining. I still don't really feel comfortable captaining Haaland, like even now, which is crazy. But I think like Brighton have been decent. Like they've turned the corner as well. City is still looking
They have.
shaky, not creating loads and loads of chances.
Yeah, no, they definitely Brighton have been good, but City are at home. They've still got I think they're still scored the third most goals and got the third highest XG. City, so they're
Really?
still top
Okay.
three for those metrics. And if you look at the kind of expected goals, they're expected to score over 2 goals. City.
Are they actually? So that's crazy to me. I think Brighton have a good chance of winning that game.
Yeah, if you look at I saw Rob T's tables that came out this morning. City have actually predicted to score the most goals this game week.
Wow, that's surprising. I suppose then that is reason enough to go for Haaland. That's what I'll be doing. I'm confident of that. I think that's probably what you're going to do as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just bringing up the numbers here. Yeah, so the two predicted to score 2.2 goals, highest in the game week. Bournemouth are at 2.15. So obviously, it makes sense bringing in Bournemouth attackers this week as well. But clean sheet they're down at 28%. So
Wow.
yeah, it's
What's Bournemouth clean sheet at?
Bournemouth's clean sheet is 27.
That's not good either.
Yeah. I mean, the two highest teams this week are Everton and Arsenal, which are at so 40% and 38%. So Everton are
Yeah.
the highest at 40, Arsenal are at 38. So it's not a good week at all for clean sheets, but those are the highest ranked teams.
Well, I'm thinking of getting Pickford in this week as well. I need a goalkeeper.
Yeah,
Um,
Pickford's good.
I think based on those numbers, I think maybe he's the one to go for.
Yeah, for this week it's
Yeah.
Pickford and Raya, but then obviously you've got to look at price as well.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Well, that's been well, half an hour almost of FPL chat. Thank you very much, mate. That was very
Okay.
useful. I'm interested to see what you do end up doing, and of course, the only place to see 100% what Abdul ends up doing with his team is Fantasy Football Hub. If you are watching this video now, you've watched half an hour of us, and you still haven't signed up at this point of the season, then I'm sorry. Like, all hope is lost. You've got to do it. If you want to know what Abdul ends up doing, maybe you're in a similar position, maybe you're just a fan of him, sign up down below. Thank you very much, mate, as always.
Thank you. Cheers, Zach.
Good luck to everyone this game week. And we will catch you in a couple of weeks' time, actually, now, for Game Week 30.